I don't know if this is going to work, and I'm probably going to be blinded, so let me do this anyway. Hey, it actually works. Let me see if I can block it a little bit more. That's great. Anyway, good evening. I am going to be installing these. Wow, that is a color difference between the two, isn't there? Woohoo! But it's kind of cool. All right. Seeing my post earlier, I've already tested out this fan here, and let's just say that I have already foresaw an issue coming up, and where that issue is going to be is this is a server board that I run as a desktop. Yes, I game on it, I do Photoshop, I do video editing on it. There's literally, it's a dual Xeon 3.3 gigahertz quad cores. So I've got 8 processing cores, 16 threads, 64 gigs of ECC memory. Yeah, she's a beast. She's very much a beast. I have a GTX 960. This is slowly but surely becoming a DeepCool build. And it was never intended that way. What originally happened was I needed a case for this monstrosity of a motherboard. Now, if anybody knows, you can tell from the video card that this is a huge motherboard. This is what they call an EATX. It doesn't fit into most cases. What I wanted to do was find a case that this huge motherboard would fit into, but it didn't look like a server. DeepCool had this amazing case, and I've been really, really happy with it. This is the Matrix 55. It came with this glass side panel. It is tempered glass. And when I needed heat sinks and fans, I looked and I noticed DeepCool had these heat sinks that I needed for these specific CPUs, and these worked. I was like, you know what? DeepCool case, DeepCool heat sinks and fans. And what's happened was I didn't have fans in the front like I wanted, because I would at least want to put one fan down here to help cool the hard drives. And then I've already got 2 fans up here, and these are 140 mils. I've got a 120 here, and I had 3 120s here. So what I opted to do was buy a 5-pack of the RGB DeepCools, and 1 more RGB DeepCool. And the reason behind that, 3 fans and 3 120s. These 3 and these 3 are all going to get replaced with these DeepCools, and I think it's going to look amazing. So I got to figure out how much I got to remove out of this case and get pulled out in order to get everything plugged in. So what you get, now so we're going to look at the fans. I actually already opened this one earlier, and I already fired it up earlier. It does come with, when you get these, you'll notice it's already uncovered, you get this Rgb controller, and it's just push button style. You do get your required 4 black screws and the fan, and it's actually a really nice looking fan. It looks pretty good when it's up and spinning. It is got the rubber feet kind of right here on either end to help when it gets mounted to a case. It's kind of like rubber isolated, and that helps with vibration noise. And it does actually move quite a bit of air. I was pretty impressed with the air pressure it puts out. Let's see what we get here. You immediately get little tabs that are, here we go. Do not stab myself. Do not stab myself. I am a grown adult. I will not stab myself. Oh, okay. So what do we get here? More stickers. Looks like 2. Okay, so we get fan headers. I'm assuming this converts it from this pen connector to this pen style for doing RGB. And of course you get your 5 sets of K-screw fans. I mean, I'm sorry. Who's going to mount an RGB fan in a grill that bad? Like, look at this. Why would you want to put a fan there? That's kind of a waste. Okay, so the RGB is pass-through. Now there is an RGB header for there's a little LED strip on the front of this case, and that's what I'm curious about. See, this fan here, you buy a single fan and all you get is, it only has a single header out. See, why do they even labeled them the same? They look the same. Why? Why do they? Essentially, you're getting the same fan, they just changed the connectors on them. This one you can only plug one in, where this one, now, do they give you instructions? Here's another question. Do they tell you how many fans you can have, how many RGB fans you can have in a series for this one controller? All right, there's the fan. That's the adapter to plug it into a motherboard. We don't have that on this motherboard. They're still not giving any information about how many fans does it say on the box. I'm looking everywhere to see. Let's see here. English, RGB sync ready motherboard software. Now, we don't have that. Anti-vibration rubber design. And I like that. RGB sync ready MB software. There's an asterisk next to it. Where is the... So you got that there. Where is the asterisk? Motherboard RGB software control is available if motherboard features RGB sync and a 12-volt 4.4-pin port. But here's my question is, they give me this fan here, cable controller. It's got 3 out. No, that's not it. There it is. This cable here. So I have 3 fan headers, RGB headers, to a single power supply. That's fine, and that picks up the 12 volt. That's fine. How many RGB fans can I run off of this? So they effectively give you absolutely no information. I'm just going to try this. It may be massive overkill for this. I'm worried that I'll fry this, but they're not listing how much I can run through this, so I'm just going to plug in everything and see if it works. The next thing we need to do and now I gotta undo some zip ties. There is a controller that comes with my case, and it actually will be powered by this. So technically I can feed this down. Where do I even have the 4-pin Molex? You know what? I may just be able to use the... Why is it having that? So this Y adapter, I'm assuming what it does is this Y adapter is off and then goes... But why did they do this? You know what? Let's wire it up and see where we go. It's about time I redid the thermal paste to my CPU anyway. Alright, continuing on. Oh, this is so much easier. Oh, not too shabby. I don't like how it's offset. It doesn't look center. That's my OCD kicking in, but here, I'll show you this. It'll work. I mean, it's a great case. I love this case. Honestly, I do. But there's no such thing as a perfect case, and there we go. Such a beautiful card. This EVGA has been just an absolute tank for me, and I've been really, really happy with it. I have a feeling this is too long to fit in there. Ah! I would like to plug them directly in the motherboard, but the fan headers they give you are way, way too short. So I may come off one of these, feed it to the back, and feed these 3. I was hoping to do them individually so the motherboard can control each fan. That was my plan. But they really didn't design this case that way. That's fine. Another little trivia fact, when you're dealing with dual CPUs, there's actually different slots and they're color-coded in here. Black is for CPU 1, blue is for CPU 2. So when I loaded a graphics card here, I actually have to go in the BIOS and tell it, you have to use, your video card is on CPU 2. And you have to go in the BIOS and say, no, the video adapter is actually on CPU 2, use that. And then my computer, this would boot up and read the video card. All right, now should I mount it up high? No, I want it down low where it lines up a little bit better. Actually, no, I think that'll look better. So we're already getting that staggered look. So I'm gonna go that way. Say goodbye, DeepCool cheap fan. Definitely starting to look better. I mean, with them all being the same fan, it looks good. Oh, I completely forgot about this. They literally put the fan header way up in there, in between. Like, it is the worst place to put a fan header. Like, CPU 1, they put it right there. It made complete sense. CPU 2 literally should have gone right here. No, let's put it way back here. That was the one thing I really disliked about this case design, or this motherboard design, was their placement of the CPU fan header. Like I said, this is a server motherboard, and typically their thought process is it's gonna be designed and built with components that are gonna last the length of the device. Somebody like me to take a server motherboard and use it as a daily desktop. But you know what? That's just the strange things I do. Yeah, see? Right there. It's literally all the way back here. It still doesn't reach down here. And there's no openings down here. So I'm going to use, but that's where this is going to come in. I'm going to mount it like this where I can see it, and then it's going to come up and go over. Do that so I can wedge more of these through here. What I'm going to do is just, problem is I'm trying to pull on all these and it's just the cables are all tight. So I got to pop all the zip ties. And sweet. Now I have this back here. All right, let's tighten the power supply back down. This is downside when you decide to upgrade stuff later down the road. Getting a bit crowded back here. So we got power. Well, that's kind of cool. That's not the color I want. There we go. Wow, those are moving some serious air. Well, so far so good. All right, so this is using, there's a little button in here. Let me show you guys this. There's a little button on top. It's the hard drive indicator light, but it also says LED. And when you press that, I'll show you this. That's when you get these different colors. Oh, that's bright. That's green. There's rainbow bright puking. That's not too bad. It goes through the colors, but it just kind of rotates through. I do like it. It looks good. I'm really, really happy with this so far. My biggest concern was that the blue LEDs were going to be so bright that I was going to be unhappy the fact that I couldn't dim them down, but honestly, they're at a level where it's not bad. And it looks good. I like the fact that I've got all matching fans. Like literally, this is the first time ever in the history of WinHell that I've had all matching fans. I've always had like this mixed match of fans.